you want to do it?
I'll do the first bit.
Oh, go on then.
Right, I'm Richard Howard. I grow oysters at West Mersea in Essex and sell them around the world, and we sell a lot in Borough Market in London nowadays.
And I'm Heather Howard, was Heather Green before I married Richard 46 years ago. I think my only claim to fame is that I owned the company shed. Well, I do own the company shed, and that's fairly well known. And now this Mehalah's is my baby.
Well, as far as I know, they were doing it back in the mid-18th century. We've got evidence they did it then. Don't know how exactly they started then, but they've been doing it ever since. Originally just growing oysters and selling them on to other merchants locally, but I've built it up to, bigger business than that. Well, I started working with my dad when I was 13, holiday times and Saturdays, and I enjoyed doing that. And I messed about in boats and things when I wasn't working. So yeah, the childhood I had was good as far as I was concerned. Better doing that than having a paper round. But it was how it happened rather than what was intended, which I'm glad. My father grew oysters and sold them to another merchant, and then when I was at school he wanted me to go and get a proper job. And I went away to college, and then he died while I was away, so I came back and took it over and ran it for my mother, and then went fishing and did some oysters. From about 20 or 30 years ago, built the oyster business up. We're doing more and more of that and selling them where we could find markets for them. And that's how it's really grown. And then Heather opened Mehalah's in the building I'd bought.
Company shed.
Sorry.
Company shed, not Mehalah's. Yeah.
Sorry, Heather. I'd bought this building, which I didn't really know what I was going to use it for, and I thought, my tale is I thought Heather wanted something to do to work at weekends, so she didn't get upset with me working at weekends. And so she started the company shed, just selling a bit of shellfish out the window to take away, not oysters to start with, other things. And it just expanded from there, and now it's a well-known fish restaurant selling a wide range of fish. We grow oysters in the creeks around Mersea Island here, and now also in Brightlingsea. Originally mainly native oysters, which have been here since the Romans came, but then the stocks of those got wiped out by a very cold winter in 1963 and never really recovered. And we went on to rock oysters, and that is now the main part of our business. We grow oysters here. People sometimes call us fishermen, but we're not just fishermen catching fish and taking what's there. With oysters, you're moving oysters about and trying to look after them. Traditionally, there's always been native oysters here, which you tended to catch in the deeper water, and where their spawn settles and becomes fat. And then we relayed it on what we call our layings in the creeks, which we actually own, because they seem to get better plankton there, and the meat fattens up and makes a much better oyster. So that's the basic process, but at the same time we're also looking after them. We're trying to make sure they don't all grow together, so we get good shape oysters to sell. That's just cosmetic really, but so to get that. But we also take the pests out, starfish kill them, crabs kill the small ones. So we try and reduce the numbers of all those things and look after the oysters. And as I said, try and get them so they're the best product we can possibly sell. And that is really what growing oysters is all around. To want to just keep it, keep it going.
Well, really got to say the natives are the best, and I just have a little squeeze of lemon on mine.
I think that's a bit too much. I like the natives the best, but I think they don't even need lemon. I think the taste, we sell our oysters a lot on the taste, and the taste is the taste of the bit of sea they come from, because the sea does vary. And I think anything spoils it. A little bit of lemon, yeah, that's probably acceptable, but some people will put every possible condiment on them together, so why bother to eat an oyster?
Well, Bram, the eldest one, he takes the boat out, catches the oysters and stuff like that. Then Caroline, our daughter, runs the company shed. Tom, one of these twins I'm on about, he sometimes works here, sometimes works for Richard in Borough Market, sometimes works at the company shed. And then Tom's got a twin, Joe, and he's actually a reverend down in Devon. Apart from, when you get these little family arguments, that's fine. Like I said to Richard, if he snuffs it before I do, I'm determined to make sure Richard Haward Oysters Limited keeps going. Well, not limited, but, Richard Haward Oysters. Because it's been going for so long, and I don't want, I'd like that name to carry on because there's Bram there, and Bram's got 2 boys, so who knows, maybe they'll become little oystermen one day. Yeah, and like I said to somebody once, I'm not going to marry an old Mersea boy. End up with him. Shall I say who we met?
Yes, I'd love to hear that.
Can you just go and get me one of them fish? Can you get me one of those herons out of the box? The silver ones. But I used to go to this boy as a friend, not a, can have friends, yeah. Not in a relationship with issues, And that's it. Anyway, at this time of year, you catch these herons in drift nets, right? They come into the river. So after work, like tea time, I would then go with Alan out on his boat to drift for some herons. And then you'd come to the, I don't know if we call it the causeway, they call it the jetty, the hammerhead, down the other end there. And you'd, because the herons got caught in the mesh of the net like that, you'd then come to the jetty, pull your nets over the like a bar, and then flick the net so the herons would then come out, right? And I saw Richard on another boat, so I picked a heron up and threw at him. And I knew then that was the man I was going to marry. So he didn't stand a chance. So this is our little, like other people have 12 roses or something like that. This is our romantic connection. It's true. Oh, that's sweet. I think me and Richard both agree, like with our grandchildren, we just try and set an example, like actually people do stay married.